Well, hello, and welcome to an Arknights Operator's Mediocre guide featuring Ash. Not the pile of burnt stuff, nor the 25-year-old, 10-year-old from that franchise with the Pikachu. It's the one from Rainbow Six Siege. Ash is a marksman sniper, goes pew pew pretty quickly, and prioritizes attacking airborne enemies, anything that flies and all that. Simple, straightforward, don't need to think too hard about it. The first talent throws a flashbang on deployment, stunning enemies hit for 4 seconds. That's all it does, nice for putting a temporary stop to whatever you don't want passing by or pounding through your blockers. With the modified breaching grenade module, the stun duration is increased to 6 seconds, which is quite a while crowd control speaking. Additionally, Ash is granted a 10% bonus to physical damage when attacking enemies stunned by the flashbang specifically, which will become slightly more relevant when we go over skill 2. The second talent adds a couple passive buffs to the first time you deploy Ash. Her DP cost will go down by 3 and on deployment, will gain a bunch of SP. Quite the handy early deployment tool, taking the already cheap marksman sniper DP cost and decreasing it even further. With the SP boost, that initial skill activation can happen sooner, which could be crucial if early mobs are giving you some trouble. With the tactical breaching round pack module, that first deployment goes down to -5 DP. Ash Shoot'em's first skill, supporting fire, boosts attack slightly and converts to hitting twice per shot. This skill only expires when Ash or the map expires. It's everyone's favorite type of skill duration, infinite. Once it's online, Ash just becomes an auto turret of sorts for the rest of the map. Usually the issue with most infinite duration skills is the long time it takes for it to get activated in the first place. But for Ash, it's less time than you think. Along with the decent 45 SP cost, you also have the second talent to consider giving that free SP on first deployment, dropping that wind-up time by about 40%. The one thing I will criticize is that pitiful attack boost, so do stick to gunning down general mobs and not anything with larger defense stats. Skill 2, Assault Tactics. On activation, the flashbang throwing talent triggers, and the time between attacks is massively decreased. The skill grants 31 ammunition, and hits against stunned enemies are augmented to hitting for up to 250% physical damage. The skill can be summed up in 2 words, boom and ratatatatatatatata. The 1-2 combo of throwing a stun, then following up with a quick series of bullet spray. Delete tankier enemies with the click of a skill, as the boosted hits will shred through even decently armored enemies. At least if they're stunned, and maybe don't go for the really high defense enemies. Ash is still a marksman sniper with low base attack after all. The other caveat is making sure that Ash is actually hitting the right enemy unit, as once the stun wears off, it's back to plinking with your usual 500 something attack stat. Here's the other really nice part about this skill. The damage increase on stunned enemies works with any source of stun. Doesn't have to be Ash's own stun grenade. Anything you have available that inflicts stun on enemies, skill 2 will benefit from. Keep in mind that the boosted hits only happen with that 31 ammo the skill gives, so position and plan your stuns accordingly, or end the skill manually so it can charge up again. Which at only a 25 SP cost, it's gonna be pretty quick. Or just let the rest of the ammo deplete for those sweet speedy shots. Additionally, in combination with the first deploy SP giving talent, the skill goes online pretty fast if you're struggling with early enemy rushes. Our third skill is breaching rounds. A projectile is fired in a straight line, dealing up to 300% physical damage and pushing enemies in its path. When reaching the 4th tile of the breaching round's path, it explodes, dealing for up to 400% physical damage. If the projectile hits a high ground target before that, it immediately explodes and deals twice as much damage as it normally would. And no, the high tile Ash stands on does not count. Lastly, the skill can only be activated twice per deployment. The skill is just big number go pushy boom, and that hilariously high percent scaling is a lot of fun to play with. As awkward as the skill's firing range may feel, as long as you can line up the high tile hit, the 1.5-ish tile radius explosion should free up your deployment options enough to not force bad positions on Ash. That being said, because of the 2 uses per deployment clause, you are put into a dilemma when using this skill. Do you go all, my precious, that was cringe, but do you go all my precious and be very selective with your limited uses, or do you sling out skill activations and just deal with the standard redeployment time for more breaching rounds? Generating maximum value with your 2 shots while still contributing regular hits from not retreating, or getting more talent stuns and big numbers out at the cost of not being on the map for a significant amount of time. The choice is up to you and your strategy, cause you still have 11 more operators to build a squad with. Buffs, fast redeploys, get creative. So what should you do with Ash? Ashe is fairly versatile for a shooty role she's got. You can easily slot Ashe in on a squad. It does help that she is the most basic of basic sniper classes. Dig in for the long haul with skill 1, burst down tougher non-boss targets with skill 2, and pump funny damage numbers in the 4 to 5 digits with skill 3. As mentioned earlier, regardless of what skill you use, they will all benefit from Ashe being able to be deployed early thanks to the very useful first move sort of talent. It's a very low commitment move relative to the initial DP cost, made even lower if you pair Ashe with someone like Elysium or Saleh. And the SP from that also lets you activate that first skill much sooner for even more immediacy. Because let's be honest, we've all probably entered a stage, leaked an early enemy you weren't prepared for, and immediately restarted the stage. Happens to the best of us. Finally, here are Ashe's stats, potentials, trust bonus, base skills, and my E264M3 Ashe, catching them all via the bullet firing and exploding method. And that was the Ashe guide. I did have one last clip that I couldn't really fit in the video, so here you go.
All friendlies have been eliminated.